Hey YouTube, Karibo here. I've been waiting for again a really long time, but I'm here to bring you guys zombies. You know, well, perhaps maybe some of you don't, but those of you, talking about my two only subscribers, which were pity subs, but whatever, I still got them, so fuck you, it's my channel. Anyway, those two subscribers know that I've been zombie boy for like the longest time, so like, I am super stoked to bring you my personal zombie horde deck profile. Let's get into it. Enough chit chat. I'm playing 2 Doom King Baladroach. He's a level 8 zombie type monster with an effect that reads, during the standby phase, if a face-up card is in a field zone and this card is in the graveyard, I special summon this card in defense mode. I can only use this effect of him once per turn. Also once per chain, if a zombie monster except Doom King Baladroach activates its effect. Quick effect, I apply one of these effects. Negate that effect, or banish one monster on the field or in the grave. That is broken. I play 2 Scapegoat. I will explain why I'm playing Scapegoat in a little bit once I get to the card that needs this dude in here, despite the fact that he's a level 1 tuner monster. I play 2 Glow Up Bloom most decks for Zombie Horde. Play 3, I play 2, because I had to fill up room for more cards in here, but his effect says that this card is sent to the graveyard, banish it, and add 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand. Or if Zombie World is in a field spell zone, doesn't even have to be yours, it just has to be in a field zone, I special summon it from your hand instead. In either case, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except zombies, which, I mean, we're playing zombies, so everything's zombies. I got 2 Tatsu Necro. If he's normal summoned, and be used as a synchro material, you can use monsters from your hand, instead of it being on the field. So, I mean, he makes the synchro summons for this deck a little easier. However, the materials are banished and you can't special summon anything else except a zombie for the rest of this turn. I run triple Mizuki because he's like a monster reborn and a half for zombies. Once per turn, you can banish him from the grave and then special summon 1 zombie monster in your graveyard. Just the 1 Gozuki. During your main phase, you can send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the GY, and this card is in your GY. Banish 1 zombie monster from your GY, except Gozuki, and special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand. You can only use the effect of him once per turn. Now, the card that is the main reason that I've got the double Scapegoat, Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. This thing here is nutty as fuck. This card cannot be attacked when there's another zombie type monster in the field. Each time a zombie type monster special summons successfully, mill 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. Crazy, 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 crazy. Triple Pyramid Turtle. He isn't exactly meta, but my decks aren't exactly made for meta, so fuck you. When this card is sent to the graveyard as a result of battle, special summon 1 zombie monster with a defense of 2k or less from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. He's pretty memey. He's a good guy. 1 zombie master. Once per turn, you can send 1 monster from your hand to the GY, and the target will level 4 or lower zombie monster in either player's graveyard. Special summon that target. This monster must be face up in the field to activate this card's effect. Necro World Banshee. Zombie World in the field spell zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target it with card effects. Quick effect, banish this card from your field to graveyard. Activate Zombie World directly from your hand to your deck. You can only control or rather activate, Necro World Banshee's effect once per turn. I am seriously considering dropping both of these guys to include another copy of what's coming next, and that is 2 Malevolent Mech Gokuen. He can be normal summoned without tributing but during the end phase, he's destroyed and you take damage equal to his attack. However, the loophole with him is normal summon him first, and then did something to your graveyard and then special summon it, because then his effect of having to be the only monster in the field to resolve and activate his effect is then nullified. So use normal summon him, and then later on in the game you play Monster Reborn and bring back another zombie or whatever. He can stay on the field, and you've essentially just got a big boy beat stick. But I want to drop one of him so I can include a third copy of Red Eye's Zombie Dragon. I can tribute summon this card in face of attack position by tributing one zombie. It doesn't even have to be yours. When this card destroys a zombie in my battle and sends it to the graveyard, special summon that monster your side of the field. He is crazy. Now, I only have 2, but you have to play 3 of them. You have to play 3 Zombie World. I've got one of them on standby, and it's coming in. It's getting ordered soon. I have to find my contact and figure out how soon, but it is coming in. It should be in by the end of month. Zombie World turns all monsters in the field and in the graveyard into zombies, and now the player can tribute summon monsters except zombies. So it's kind of a big fuck you to anything that has high-level monsters and can't get over Zombie World. 1 Call of the Mummy. Once per turn, special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand. You must control no monsters to activate and resolve this effect. Foolish Burial. I think it's pretty well a staple in any zombie-oriented or graveyard-oriented deck. Send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. 2 Burial from a different dimension. Target up to 3 of your banished monsters and return them to the graveyard. You mainly grab Mizuki and stuff like that. I play 3 Book of Life for special summon power. Target 1 zombie monster in your graveyard, and then 1 monster in your opponent's. Banish your opponent's target and special summon yours. 1 Monster Reborn. Target 1 monster in another player's graveyard, special summon it. It's off the ban list. Put it in everything, guys. Interesting choice on my part. I got Card Destruction. I believe it's off the ban list too. Just forces each player to discard their entire hand and draw the same number of cards. I've got it for ditching your zombies to the grave and, then having materials to work with instead of having to wait for them to be destroyed. I've got 1 Zombie Power Struggle. Target 1 zombie monster on the field. Your opponents are yours. And it gains 1,000 attack or loses 1,000 attack. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, shuffle 1 of your banished zombie monsters into the deck. And if you do, set this card, but banish it after it leaves the field. Similar to my 1 Zombie Necronize, if a level 5 or higher zombie monster is on the field, target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, much like Zombie Power Struggle, you can banish or take 1 of your banished zombie monsters, add it to the graveyard, and then you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Last spell card, I got 1 Soul Charge. I know this thing is on the ban list, I believe, but my decks aren't meta or meant for tournament-based play, so I got it. You pay multiples life points for 1,000, and for every 1,000 life points you wish to give up, you're able to summon that many monsters. Onto the traps. Again, I know most meta decks don't run traps, but again, my decks aren't meta. 1 Trap of the Imperial Tomb. 1 a zombie monster special summon from your opponent's graveyard to your field to target 2 cards in the field and destroy them. 1 Haunted Shrine. If I control no monsters, I can target 1 zombie monster in my graveyard, special summon it, and if I control no monsters, banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 zombie monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. I got 1 Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. I've got 1 Necrofusion in here because I'm playing 1 Sea Monster of Thesis, and he requires 2 tuners for his fusion material, and this thing just allows you to use your tuners in the grave and go for your fusion summon. And last, I don't know if I'd call it an engine, but I've got 2 virus cards. I've got 1 Green and Grave Virus and 1 Crush Card Virus. Green and Grave Virus allows you to tribute 1 dark monster with 3k or less attack, and your opponent destroys 1 card of their choice in their hand or deck for every 500 attack that monster had in the field. If I attributed a monster with 2,000 or more attack to this card's effect, look at all cards in your opponent's hand, and every card they draw until the end of their third turn after this card's activation, destroy all monsters among them. Cards destroyed and sent to the graveyard with this card's effect can't activate their effects. And then Crushed Card Virus, tribute one dark monster with 1,000 or less attack. Your opponent takes no damage at the end of the next turn. And also look at all cards in my opponent's hand and all monsters they control, and destroy all of them among them with 1,500 or more attack. And then they have the option of destroying up to 3 monsters from their deck with 1,500 or more attack. That's just optional. Moving on to the extra deck, I've got 2 Red-Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. He's level 7, so you can just use Tatsu Necro and like Mizuki or something like that to make him. It gains 100 attack and defense for each zombie monster on the field and in the graveyards. When another zombie monster is destroyed by battle, I can special summon one zombie monster from either player's graveyard to my field. So you can get him up to like 8,000, no problem. I've done it at school with my friends. I've dropped him on the field, and we were having a 4-way, and I got him up to 12k, and I had just plowed through my friends, and like, he's crazy. He's really cool. I've got a cool engine in here. I got 2 Diabolic Dragons, one Beelzes and one Beels. Beels requires 1 Dark Tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. He's level 8. He cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and if I take damage from an attack involving this card, or from an opponent's card effect, this guy gains attack equal to the damage that I took. So, like, he's just an annoying cunt that no one can get over. So you can just swing at, I'm just using this as an example, I know no one actually plays him, but swing at your opponent's Blue Eyes Ultimate, and sure, you'll take your 15, but then he'll gain that 15, and he'll be at 4,500, and you can just keep swinging of your opponent's shit that's too big, that's much bigger than him, take the damage yourself, and then, sure, it'll come in, like, close call after all that damage, but that's where he comes in. Beelzes of the Diabolic Dragons. He requires 1 tuner and 2 or more non-tuner monsters. He's a little more trickier to summon. I've been only be able to do it once. I'm trying to find more ways to be able to get him out. But without further ado, let's quit delaying and get into his effect. Much like his counterpart Beels, he cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and other monsters I control can't attack. Bummer. But once per turn, I can target one monster my opponent controls. Any battle damage my opponent takes from attacks involving this card this turn is halved, but I change the attack of that monster to 0, and I gain life points equal to its original attack, which helps you get over Beels' little curb bump, whatever you want to call it. I have one number 48 Shadow Lich. My camera's not going to focus on that, but his effect is once per turn during your opponent's turn, I can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. I special summon 1 Phantom token. It's a Fiend Dark type. Sucks that it's not a zombie, but Zombie World makes it a zombie, so I guess it makes up for it there. This dude gains 500 attack for each Phantom token I've got, and my opponent cannot target this card for an attack while they control the token. So, it's kind of cool. We've got one number 66 Master Key Beetle. He's really interesting. Once per turn, detach 1 Xyz material from this card, and then target 1 card I control except this card. While this card is facing in the field, that card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and if this card in the field be destroyed, I can destroy that card instead. So, that is interesting. I like to chain this with like a Mizuki on the field, or Bala Joch, or even sometimes I like to do it with Zombie World, but he's handy. And finally, one Sea Monster Thesis. He just requires 2 tuners, and he's a level 5 tuner. So, Synchro Summon, help. So yeah, that has been my Zombie Horde structure deck, or structure deck, my Zombie Horde deck. There's definitely going to be some mods I'd like to do to it. I like to ditch 1 Malevolent Mech and bring in another copy Red-Eye Zombie Dragon, and then eventually I'd like to ditch 1 Scapegoat and the other Malevolent Mech, and then put in 2 more Soul Absorbing Bone Tower, because of the mill effect for that. Some pointers I guess you could do with this deck would be if you open up with Pyramid Turtle, special summon him, your opponent mills 2. If you see him in your opening hand, your strategy is just going to be mill for that entire duel, just mill. It was an 8-turn duel I had, and I had milled 3 people. Me and my friends were having a 4-way, and I had milled all 3 of their decks to the grave. Because I had Zombie World, and one of my friends likes to play Pendulum, the other one likes to play Lynx, and the other one likes to play Destiny Heroes, and that all involves special summoning shit, and they just kept milling their stuff, and by turn 8, they were all gone. Their deck was entirely gone, so they had nothing. So yeah, that has been my zombie profile. I really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. Just warnings, I guess. It can get cloggy. It's not meant for competitive play, just to have fun. So if you like this video, leave a thumbs up, a comment, what you liked about it, or even what you disliked about it, and what I could do better. And possibly consider subscribing so I can make you guys more content. Until next time, thanks for watching.